Is my music tweaking out? Why am I hearing music from multiple spots? Is that just me? Or was the music playing like double there? I think I must have my browser open somewhere else. What is going on? This is what happens when I try to do a stream on a Monday. I'm just completely off my game. And now I can't even figure out where this sound is coming from. Why am I hearing myself in a stream? What is going on, guys? What is going on? Let me get my headphones on here and see if I can figure out what the hell's going on. You'd think this is my first time doing a stream. Chris can't hear me because he has Cars 3 is on. How many times, Chris, have you seen the Cars movie in your life? It seems like a lot. All right. I think we're back. Wait, what is going on? I'm hearing my own. Sorry, guys. I'm tilting right now. What is going on? I'm hearing myself in my headphones. One sec, guys. One sec. This is just great streaming. All right. I think I'm good now. I think I'm good. Chris has seen it 69 times. It's happening again. Why am I hearing myself in StreamYard? All right. Whatever. I guess I don't need to hear the audio. Okay. I'm tilting right now, guys. I'm tilting. A+ streamer. Good start to the live stream. Happy Memorial Day. How is everyone's Memorial Day going? Everyone having a good Memorial Day? Excellent. Is my audio okay? If my audio is fine, the show can go on. I quit my job and then forgot how to stream. Doesn't seem like a recipe for success. Oh, wow. Let's not bring up Miami tech issues here. Let's not. All right, let's hop into Best Ball Mania here. That's what we're here to do. If we can power through. Already frazzled at the start. Already frazzled. All right, let's hop in. Let's see who can get in here. It is already mostly filled. Wow. Some of you guys pre-hopped in like sharps. We got Chris, we got Corey, we got Jonathan. Who else did we get in here? Did Belair not get in? Oh, no. Oh, no. Did Belair not get in? What happened? Chris with the 101 influencer pick. Corey, it looks like there was only 3 or 4 spots by the time I hopped in. Babs, I know you're in for the first time. What is your handle on here? And what did I get? 112. I'm the turn. I will continue to draft 2 Bills running backs if you guys let me get them 30 picks beyond ADP. That is now part of my strategy. Oh no, you guys have a dueling separate stream. This is what's going to happen. Casey and Eric are going to fire up a Periscope. They're going to compete with us for viewers. I always knew this day would come. I think it was last Monday that I hopped in one and the entire draft was you guys. We knew that wasn't sustainable. We knew it wasn't sustainable. I'm sorry that some of you guys got shut out. Willis, are you in here? What pick do you have? Oh, you're everyone got in the other draft, the real influencers draft. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. It's probably best, right? I mean, when there's 10 of us in one of these drafts and we just all beat up on each other, we divvy it up a little bit here. Sam's in the other one. All right, you guys can keep me posted on how your guys' draft goes over there. We can draft concurrently here. I believe I'm definitely setting up for a 0 RB build here, depending on what the back half of this draft does. Allen's multi-tabling best ball in May. Yeah. It's already multi-table season for sure. I actually haven't done 2 live drafts at the same time yet. That is a little overwhelming. Maybe that's how, once I get comfortable streaming and drafting, maybe then that's when I add in the second ball to juggle and we go dual screen, 2 best ball mania drafts, 1 stream. That would be a disaster. I don't think I would make great decisions under that environment. What did you guys do for Memorial Day? My Memorial Day got rained out. It was brutal. I got so excited to go down to the beach and it just rained the whole time. Ate good food, which was good. Had some nice drinks, but very, very depressing to you're ready to kickstart the summer. And then it just rained the whole time. Wow. Yeah. Tyreek Hill, 104. Have not seen him go that early. That was kind of reminiscent to last year when Michael Thomas would start to, squeak up into the top 3 or 4 picks, depending on if you had a 0 RB truther in the draft. It is. I did get the back-to-the-back. I definitely enjoy having that in this draft as opposed to the randomizer draft. Nick says, just finished a 15-mile no, I don't want to be in autopilot mode. A 15-mile mountain bike ride, now chugging loggers. Sounds like a nice Memorial Day. Sounds very nice. And I saw Corey and Chris have been drafting best ball teams all day. Sounds like a nice day. And my question here now, normally it looks like I am going to get my choice of wide receivers. Oh, Diggs goes. So that makes it less interesting here. I am going to go ahead and grab Adams, and then kind of depending on the direction I want to take my team, I think I can go with AJ Brown or DeAndre Hopkins. I just started a team the other day with Adams and AJ Brown, so I think I'm going to mix it up because I do not have an Adams and DeAndre Hopkins team. So we're going to go with that. And also I really like building the Cardinals stacks. I really like their end of season schedule. We, of course, have that shootout potential with Dallas week 17, which is, of course, the money week for the Best Ball Mania. So I'm going to keep mixing up the texture of my starts here. Definitely would have grabbed Diggs if he was there, but he is not. It does look like we are headed in that direction. Yeah, it's crazy. I've been doing, a bunch of these, and when I'm looking at my draft board based on the rankings in rounds 8 through 11 or 12, all the best players available are running backs because everyone's drafting so similarly where they're taking 2 to 3 running backs up top and then they're hammering wide receivers that they all dry up again. And then they're continuing to hammer wide receivers because they need to build out their depth. So I'm kind of liking how it sets up for zigging and zagging. I like taking running backs in that range just because people aren't scrambling to grab running backs there like they are wide receivers. The kind of downside I've noticed is I'm missing a lot of wide receivers I like in that pocket too when I go wide receiver heavy early. I'm not getting my LaViscas, my Michael Pittmans, my Rondell Moores, those guys going there because I'm generally having to draft running back. So I might have to switch that up at some point to make sure I'm getting exposure to those guys. But yeah, I'm completely comfortable going with 0 RB in Underdog, just the way everyone is drafting right now. What is Jordan up to? Currently icing my shoulder after throwing it out in a disc golf tournament this week. Happy Memorial Day. Man, that is such a bummer. I dislocated my shoulder playing rec basketball a few years ago. I think I told that story in the Discord the other night, actually. And yeah, I guess I didn't normally think of disc golf being a sport with high injury risk, but that sounds extremely painful. I basically have stopped playing rec sports because I realized I don't want to derail being able to work out because I got injured. And I was like, as much as I love playing basketball, it's not worth having to do, 3 months of rehab to my shoulder just so I can play basketball instead of, lifting weights or whatever. So sorry to hear that, Jordan. If Rodgers stays, Adams is a screaming value for sure. Yeah, I think so. And I don't even know if it's the Rodgers uncertainty that is causing him to drop. I think it's just general, people being in love with running backs. But maybe there's a slight Adams discount because of the Rodgers uncertainty there. Yeah, Harbs. I mean, the wide receiver drop off, it is absolutely gross. If you're looking for solid wide receivers after round 10, man, good luck. Yeah, I'm telling you, man, and like the way I play, I'm a grit guy. I'm a hustle guy. I'm the one boxing out. I have a well-rounded game. I'm like a Draymond Green is kind of how I would compare my game, but I succeed based on my hustling. And when you're hustling, you are opening yourself up to injuries. I'm not just the guy who can just sit at the 3-point line and just stroke it all day and not have to get my hands dirty. So yeah, no more rec basketball for me. You have to stretch before disc golf. I believe that. I do take charges. That was me. All right, let's see what we have coming up here on the turn. I do notice the tight ends. It's such an advantage for these guys. Chris and Corey at the top. They get there. Look at this build. I mean, this is why it's such an advantage. You get your stud running back, Christian McCaffrey, Dalvin Cook. Then you get your stud tight end, Waller, Kittle. For the record, I'm still on Team Kittle over Waller, but you can't argue with either of them. And then Justin Jefferson and Keenan Allen, getting your stud wide receiver 1. It's a huge advantage having a pick from the 1 or 2 hole. And there's only one way that we can combat it, which is by loading up with wide receivers here. I think it's the only way. Let's see here. Pete, thoughts on Seattle potentially grabbing Julio? Obviously seems great with Russ, but Pete seems like such an RB boomer and it could derail all the wide receivers. Yeah, I saw those rumors. It honestly seems crazy that they would do that and invest in that kind of, invest their salary cap in a third kind of luxury wide receiver when Pete Carroll just wants to run the ball. It does seem like a disaster for everyone except Russell Wilson. It really does. I think Russell would be poised to absolutely smash there, even if they are still run oriented. But sure, I do not hope that Julio goes to Seattle. That'd be gross. Let's see here. Speaking of Seattle, Miles Sanders, Chris Carson. I could maybe take a detour on running back here, but I'm not. I've kind of mentally committed to a 0 running back build here, and I think we are just going to keep hammering it. Let's go with DJ Moore and Mike Evans. Let's do that. I don't think it's bad to take Sanders or Carson there. I think that seems perfectly reasonable. Getting a slight discount. This room is a little more wide receiver heavy than maybe the average room. I know Sanders did fall to me, but we're already in 0 RB mode. I definitely could have taken a detour for one of them. What level of player is the first RB you usually take? Yeah, so I'm definitely open to taking Kareem Hunt, Gaskin, ETN if they're there, if I feel like I'm getting a value on them. And when I don't get one of the elite tight ends, I definitely am kind of looking to get one of them there. I think I'm more willing to push down into that Rojo range you're describing if I have the elite quarterback, elite tight end. But with this build, I might be looking to grab one of those guys in round 5 or 6 if they're there. But otherwise, yeah, I've been doing lots of Rojo, lots of Tony Pollard, lots of James Conner. Who else is in that range? Lots of Alexander Madison, lots of Nyheim Hines, just the typical 0 RB bullshit. Thank you, Corey. It's, you definitely, it's the classic 0 RB thing. It feels scary, to know that these are the running backs you're going to be rolling out. But like I said, I do think those pockets of the draft, you can basically have your pick of running backs rounds 8 through 11 while everyone else scrambles to add their wide receiver depth. So I'd much prefer to be drafting running backs there than wide receivers. Who do I like in my Arizona stack? Or you guys have, I can't tell now if you guys are having conversations from your draft or mine. Yeah, I think Hunt is a great first running back in the 0 RB builds. I like that a lot. I'll definitely be eyeing him here. Let's go back to the grid view. It is such a long time until we pick. It is a long time. Be curious to see what quarterbacks go here in this round. Let's check in on some of these other builds. CT Stanton locks up his Mahomes to Kelsey stack. Shimmy, Coco Pop goes Saquon, then 3 wide receivers. ID Holden going more the hyper fragile build. Kamara, Najee, DeAndre Swift. I definitely think getting a little bit of that discount on DeAndre Swift is nice. I don't really think his role was going to be that different with or without like a Todd Gurley type signing. So I think I'd happily take the ADP discount on that. Let's see what Chris G is doing. Again, I hate these guys with the 101, getting to double tap Lockett and Higgins there. Seems pretty nice. Let's see what Corey does. Man, I don't know if Sprockets is one of you guys, but I still just can't get excited about David Montgomery in the 4th. It's so hard for me to pull the trigger there. I can't do it. I can't do it. I'm sorry, guys. I am out on David Montgomery until further notice. Of course it's nice. He got to pick from the 101. I hate you, Chris. Just kidding. You're a grinder. Chris has done... How many drafts are you up to, Chris? Don't say 69. That's the number of times you've watched Cars. Wow, Brandon Ayuk getting pricey. What is that? Is that his ADP? Seems like a little earlier than his ADP. Let's see. Brandon Ayuk. Yeah, ADP 62 goes pick 52. Ayuk getting a little expensive at that price point. 62 to 63. There you go. Yep. Chris, that is one of the fun things now about doing Underdog is you normally recognize, even if you don't publicize it, you normally recognize 1 or 2 handles or people in your drafts. It's about the friends we make along the way. Cobra Kai, my prediction is the Falcons sign AP or Le'Veon in August. I have no thoughts about AP or Le'Veon, but they definitely seem like a candidate to sign another back there for sure. San Francisco has the good playoff schedule bump. Yeah, I think you just have to be careful with those things. I mean, if you're reaching around ahead of ADP, then the bump you're getting from the good schedule might just be offset. Was kind of hoping Kyler would fall there. Okay, this is nice. Kyler would have been the only quarterback I would have considered to stack with DeAndre. He goes. At tight end here, I do like Mark Andrews here. Let's see. I believe the question is, do I go Gaskin in ETN or do I go ETN and Andrews? I think with this build, I like getting the elite tight end here. So I'm going to go ETN and Andrews, I believe is what I'm going to do. If Andrews was gone, I think I would have double tapped the running backs and gone Gaskin and ETN. Yeah, the Kyler snipe hurts. It hurts. But with this team, we're definitely just going to piece it together at quarterback at this point. Even when I have Evans and Godwin, I haven't been drafting a lot of Brady. I kind of have been preferring to wait. I guess I would take a look at Rodgers, but even then, I'm probably looking at this point to try to get an upside quarterback, one of the rookies, maybe a Trey Lance, maybe a Justin Fields, and then get myself a Darnold. And then there're just so many quarterbacks now that I like late. I like Tua. I like Wentz. I like Zach Wilson. That I don't mind just building out that quarterback and those stacks later in the draft. Andrews elite. Yeah, I do. When I say elite, this is my definition of elite, is a tight end that allows me to only draft 2 tight ends. That's my Underdog definition of elite. because that's all I care about is how many roster spots am I going to have to devote to tight end. And I feel like if I punt past the Andrews and Kyle Pitts tier, once I'm down here, I'm starting to think I might want 3 of these. Whereas when I get Andrews, I am completely comfortable just grabbing one other tight end. Yeah, Harbs, I'm with you. I think Gaskin is a really nice pick still. I think they're both. That's the whole thing. I was talking with Davis about this earlier. It's just like I have zero confidence that ETN is a much better pick than Gaskin or vice versa. Just like when I'm in round 9, I have no confidence that Ronald Jones is that much better than James Conner. So basically this year, I'm just trying to spread out my picks. I've taken Gaskin there in that same spot a lot of times. Today I took ETN. I don't think I have any exposures right now over 25%. Maybe that will drift higher as the season goes on, but trying to just stay balanced, trying not to get too overconfident. I don't need another situation like last year where I have 45% Christian Kirk, 45% Laviska Shenault, and then I'm just crying. The brand is strong, but I'm crying. Let's see. Chris getting Odell, Tyler Boyd. Someone stake Chris on Joe Burrow. Someone snake Chris on Joe Burrow. I've told you guys the deal now. I come on these streams. I'm having to focus on a lot of stuff. You guys snake my stacks, and now it's time I blow up your spot. Chris G clearly has his crosshairs on Joe Burrow, and we're not going to let it happen. Let's see here. What do we got? Corey gets Robbie and Juju. Mostert is another guy, is one of my highest owned running backs. I think someone earlier was asking me what range am I normally drafting my first running back. Mostert for a while was my first running back I was taking. He seems to be getting, I guess, let's see his ADP here. Is this about where he goes? Mostert, pick 78, right in the middle of round 7. That still seems about right to me. Debo goes here. See, this is the thing about the Ayuk ADP is I just don't think there should be this big of a gap between Ayuk and Debo. I think they should be much closer together. I think Ayuk's probably around early and Debo's probably around late. Just my gut feeling there on how that should be. I am personally Mostert over Sermon. I don't know, man. I feel like this is what I feel like happened. I think some of the film grinders love Trey Sermon, and now just everyone has convinced themselves that he's just going to immediately overtake Mostert. I don't know. I think he's definitely going to be involved, especially with Jeff Wilson now on the shelf for a long time. I think he's going to have touches right out of the gate, but I just think it's a little rich assuming that this rookie running back is going to come in right away and have the nice side of that backfield split. I could be wrong. All right, let's check in on stuff here. Watch me now have to draft Trey Sermon after all of this. I just said that, and now I'm staring at Trey Sermon here because he very much fits with this build. That's how this works. I can't believe this. I just trashed Trey Sermon, and now I'm about to draft Trey Sermon. He's never here for me. I can't believe this. I think we'll grab Landry here. Yeah, we'll go Sermon and Landry. Just playing it by the ranks here. There we go. Yeah, so yeah, Sermon here. This is why I never get him. He's normally going at pick 73. I get him at pick 84. That feels much more palatable to me. I think this is only the second time I've drafted him just because people have been drafting him late 6th, early 7th. Oh, you wanted Landry? How many stacks do you have going, Chris? What do you mean? Oh, you were trying to set up the double stack with both Cleveland and Cincinnati. But there was no way Landry was making it back to you, Chris. Come on. You guys in the 101 slot get so greedy. Just enjoy what you have. Just enjoy it. I completely agree with this, Cobra. He could easily be the next Joe Williams. That's why I haven't been reaching for him. but I will take the ADP discount there. And because this was a true 0 RB build, I like the idea of, sometimes you do these 0 RB builds where you end up with the James Conner, the David Johnson, a couple pass catching backs, and you're having to ask yourself, can any of these running backs actually emerge late down the stretch as RB1s? And generally it's kind of like, That's why I like getting the Tony Pollards, because they're an injury away from just being a monster. At least with ETN and Sermon, things could be slow out of the gate, but that they could theoretically have the upside to really carry you in those money weeks 15 through 17. But here, look at the top of my ranks here. This is what I talk about when we enter this point of the draft. Pollard, Rojo, Connor, Damian Harris, Zach Moss, Fournette, and then there's Higbee. Then there's Michael Carter, Marquise Brown. I mean, all the best available players now are running backs because everyone's just been hammering wide receiver. There goes Marquise Brown. I think Marquise Brown is a nice value here. I mean, right about at ADP, but I still feel like Marquise Brown is slightly underpriced. You get that stack, the Lamar and Marquise Brown. I was going to take Marquise Brown if he fell to me. Another one of those things we've been talking about, right? If just because I don't have Lamar doesn't mean I can't grab, Marquise Brown and Mark Andrews. The team stack. Yes, Lou, we're doing an afternoon brunch. I've been all over the place. I said normally do these Monday mornings. Then I was going to bump it to Tuesday morning because of Memorial Day. And then I realized I had a conflict. And then I'm just reined inside anyway. So I said, why don't we just fire this up today? So apologies for those of you who missed it, who normally join us. Typically, we will be rolling on Monday mornings. And I even booked a guest. I have Herzig going to join us next Monday at 10 a.m. The man who took down last year's Best Ball Mania. Figured you guys were getting bored of me just rambling the whole time. Maybe we could get a guest on, pick his brain about some current best ball strategy. So that'll be next Monday with Herzig. Otherwise, usual schedule this week. Club Top Shot tomorrow. Lulls and Ship Chasing Wednesday. Randomizer Thursday. Splash Play Friday. Think we'll even get a chess stream in again this week. All of that good stuff. Why don't you, Sal, and Spags do a show? I do a show with Spags. Splash Play, man. Every Friday, we're rewatching Playmakers, the old ESPN show. A bunch of the guys hanging out in the chat. Lou, Belair, Willis, Phil. Those guys all hang out, and we all make fun of Playmakers together on Fridays. And Sal, I will definitely do a stream or two with Sal this summer. Another one of my fellow YouTube and Underdog brethren. All right, let's see what we have coming up on tap here. Is there anything in the quarterback stuff I should start prepping for? I guess I could reluctantly add Tom Brady to my queue. I could reluctantly add Aaron Rodgers to my queue. Who are my other quarterback options? Baker Mayfield. Sam Darnold down here. I guess just to prepare ourselves. I could see myself taking a quarterback here. I don't mind it at this point in the draft. Also love my guy, Tony Pollard. I have a ton of Tony Pollard. There's just nothing that makes me feel... Oh, there goes Rodgers, of course. I would have preferred Rodgers to Brady. What do we do here? I have so much James Conner too. Normally, I would just pair him up with Nuke, especially if I had Kyler. I think I'm going to go Pollard and Brady. I've not been taking Brady at all. This seems like a decent time to take him with Evans. And I need a quarterback. I normally have an elite quarterback at this time, and I don't. So I will plug my nose and take Tom Brady. Oh, Animal. How are you doing, Animal? The words Brady Fournette stack should never be said again. That's not even a thing, Animal. It's not a thing. And if it is a thing, I don't want to be a part of it. I don't want it to be a thing I do. I'm trying to limit myself these days to just one Bills running back per team. It's just kind of a new rule I have for myself. Yeah, I'm going back and forth on this one. My usual kind of running back bias would be very anti James Conner. I guess my bull case for James Conner is I love stacking up the Cardinals. I think they fall into the category of it being an ambiguous backfield. Rotoviz actually just recently updated their data on kind of those ambiguous backfields and where Chase Edmonds is going. It's that kind of running back, the lead in an ambiguous backfield that normally has one of the lower hit rates for running backs. So we know James Conner has the 3-down skill set. We know they're going to run a lot of plays. We know they're going to score a lot of points. And I don't have the confidence that, Chase Edmonds is just going to be a bell cow back. Therefore, I think James Conner is a fairly good bet to make when you can get him at a reasonable price. So I'm with you. In the same way, it's like hard to believe Mike Davis could have a full season as a impactful running back. It's hard to also believe James Conner could do that. But I think there's multiple outs to James Conner being fantasy relevant this year. And my drafting history this season would say I'm fairly bullish on James Conner, even if I don't necessarily love it. My wife and I have not watched the season finale yet. I think we'll probably watch that tonight. Here's my thing about Mayor of Easttown. It's entertaining. I feel like tonally it can't figure out what it wants to be. Some scenes are shot like a comedy. Some scenes are shot like a mystery, thriller. And it just was all over the place. Like the world building seemed kind of lazy to me. I don't know. It just never fully sucked me in. So, but I will watch the finale tonight and see how I feel. Yeah, that's probably not even a hot take. I mean, Kyler's going to rush a lot. I could see that for sure. If you think Conner 2021 will be a good thing, it's good luck. It's probably Eno Benjamin. Cobra, I just outlined my case for James Conner. The whole theme of this with all these running backs is we do not know. We're trying to make probabilistic guesses. We're trying to spread our chips out because my confidence level, like I said, on James Conner versus Leonard Fournette versus Latavius Murray versus Darrell Henderson versus Hines, I am not supremely confident in one of these options over the other. But James Conner is the kind of back I would maybe break a tie on in this crew. So one structural thing I'm noticing now, and I talked about this, is I am starting to regret one of these picks in here in lieu for a wide receiver, because again, it goes back to, I don't see a ton of difference between all these running backs. And I'm still, despite starting with, 4 of these wide receivers, I still would like a premium wide receiver here. Maybe I'll get a share of Rondell Moore here, and we'll go that route with Hopkins. Till when he snipes me. Wow, is this Jack Miller? Is this ETR's very own Jack Miller, who can't even be bothered to update his profile on YouTube? Is it that Jack Miller? Is this the Jack Miller that turned down an appearance on the Swolecast so he could go on a picnic? Is that this Jack Miller in our presence? Belair got sniped on Rondell in the other draft. I hear you. I know how that goes. Let's see here. I am going to put Rondell in there. Someone did take James Conner. Let's see here. I'm going to take Rondell because I want another wide receiver. I don't have a ton of him. I think his price is going to continue to go up throughout the offseason. Are there any other these wide receivers that I want right now? Nyheim Hines has been a guy I've been drafting a ton. Let's just check out the quarterback situation. I guess this is a spot for Baker. I guess. Is Hooper still around if I end up wanting to go that route? Where did Hooper go? Yeah, Hooper's there. All right. Let's go with the Baker. I can't even update my queue because I just don't trust any of you guys here. It sounds like a bloodbath in the other draft. Here's the thing about that analogy, Willis, is you're making it sound like Woj reached out specifically to me to invite me on a Clubhouse podcast. That was not the case. It was a producer who worked for the NBA. Woj has no idea who I am. In this analogy, David Kitchen is Woj. And David Kitchen reached out to Jack Miller and said, do you want to come and do the most beneficial thing for your career that you could possibly do? And Jack said, no, I'm going on a picnic. So this analogy doesn't quite check out, Willis. Yeah, I'm surprised you haven't. I'm surprised you haven't, Jack. Do it for the brand. Yeah, I'm with Amico. I like Rondell. I like Terrace. I think mixing in those kind of guys, especially when I feel like when you do go 0 RB, you can get the luxury of some of those breakout wide receivers. You know, if I whiff on Rondell, that's not going to hurt me because I have a pretty strong foundation at wide receiver. Exactly. Eric Belair was on his deathbed and rolled himself out to be on Club Top Shot. You can't be turning these things down. We'll never invite Jack back again. Never. I would be more excited to be. I mean, that's not even that's not even a joke. I imagine Woj would be pretty boring to hang out with. Sorry, Woj, if you're watching. Let's see here. Of course, Chris did get his Joe Burrow and his Mecole Hardman and his Zach Moss and his Trey Lance. I'm so sick of these 101 bros. So sick of them. They get to have it all. I will say, Chris definitely he's pushing the single RB there. Didn't take Zach Moss till round 10. I mean, I think that's the way to do it. Grabs Latavius there and Gus Edwards. That is how you do it. This is how we do it. I shouldn't sing on stream after my controversial not singing Madonna on the randomizer stream last week. Basically what happened was Andy didn't want to do it. I knew I was going to have to fall on the karaoke sword. And for some reason in my head, I thought on Holiday, on Holloway was a better 1-for-1 kind of pun. But then I just even forgot to say on Holloway itself. So it is what it is. We'll get him next week. Actually, please stop submitting singing prompts. They're the bane of my existence. I would rather be Pete Overzet more than Pete Carroll and Pete Wentz combined. Yeah, I feel like Pete Carroll, he seems like he'd be kind of exhausting to hang out with, that he'd have no chill. I could see scenarios, though, where Pete Carroll would be fun. I can see scenarios, but I appreciate that, Nick. I appreciate that. As I mentioned in the Discord the other day, we should have some more news on a Vegas trip coming up. Still trying to figure some things out, but I will let everyone know. Maybe we can get a meetup together in Vegas here. Please don't do that, woman's coin. Please don't. I'm begging you. I need to figure out my guest for this week. Maybe I'll get a singer. That's the ultimate hack. You want to give me singing prompts? Fine. I'll get someone with a beautiful voice. All right, let's see what's going on in this draft. Probably going to draft some more running backs here. What's going on at tight end? Okay, we got the New England guys. I might have to reach for Austin Hooper here. I guess I could sit and wait. I do not want to draft Gronk. This is why I never draft Brady, because there's just like no one I want to stack him with ever. I'd rather meet Pete Jennings over Pete Overzet. I think that's a completely defensible take. What do I want to do here? Do I want to reach for Hunter Henry? I am going to grab my dude, Devin Singletary. I'll just keep drafting Devin Singletary. You guys can't stop me. I think we're going to go Singletary and Hooper. I think that's what we're going to do unless I'm missing anything else. Let me just do a roundup. I can wait on a third QB if I want to do that. I definitely like Singletary most of all these running backs. Wide receiver is getting gross. I don't see much of a difference in these wide receivers. I guess I slightly prefer Smith and Henry to Hooper, but I want to get another stack for my guy Baker. So I guess that is the pick. Devin Singletary and Austin Hooper. Yeah, I'm with you, Amico. I'm with you. I think Singletary, I just don't, I mean, he was going, what, early to mid 5th round last year? And now he's going at the 13-14 turn. I think that's way too much of a course correction. I did stack Brady with Evans. No, I know. I'm saying that there's not other guys I want to stack with Brady. I just can't stomach Gronk. I think Antonio Brown is undraftable at his current ADP, so I'm never going to have any of him. I guess I can open myself up to like a Scotty Miller or something late. What do we see? Harbs is going to the World Series of Poker. That sounds fun. I'll be in Vegas for most of WSOP. Does Blender do best balls? I do not think so. I do not think most DFS bros do not want to lock up their money for 6, 7, 8 months, 9 months when we're drafting now. They don't see that as a good use of capital. So I would guess not. Sing a song by a band who plays at Austin City Limits or draft Austin Hooper. I'll draft Austin Hooper every time. Let's see here. Jack says the brand took a irreparable hit when I was unable to go on the Swolecast, but hopefully the new profile picture can limit the long-term damage. There you go. Jack had an NFT looking avatar before NFTs were even a thing. Ahead of your curve, Jack. I will grab Tebow if I'm forced to. I will. Singletary is turning out to be one of my guys. The combination of him going multiple rounds later than I think he should, and the fact that I'm doing a lot of these 0 RB builds means I'm ending up with a lot of Singletary. I'm going to guess when I go to check my exposures in the next couple of days, he might end up being my highest owned guy. Right now it's Michael Thomas. But I could see Singletary getting there. And I do think he'll move up too. Once training camp stuff starts, a lot of these running backs are going to get pushed up. And a lot are going to get pushed down too once we start to get that kind of news. I actually disagree with this. I think Singletary's fairly talented. He was definitely one of those guys where like his pre-draft agility stuff, like he didn't pop off the page. And then when you actually watch him, and this is where I become a film guy, like very impressive lateral agility. And I think he's going to catch a decent amount of balls. I think that offense is going to score a ton of points. And mainly it's the same with the Cardinals. I know they're obviously way more pass heavy, the Bills, but they're going to run a lot of plays and they're going to have a lot of scoring opportunities. And I want pieces of that offense, especially pieces of that offense at a discount, and especially if it's just going to be a two-man backfield. I think Dobbins and Edwards are much more exciting this year without having Mark Ingram involved. I think Singletary and Moss as a two-man backfield, I think both of those guys can produce. Yeah, I love Nyheim Hines. I think he's a smash pick. I really like the Colts altogether too. What am I going to do here? I'm done at tight end. I'm probably going to add one more quarterback. Do I have any stacks here that I haven't addressed? Sam Darnold already went. I love Wentz. I don't mind Zach Wilson at all. What other wide receivers here? God, wide receiver gets gross so fast. Ugh, running backs gross. Let's see. I'm going to grab Wentz. Wentz has been a guy I don't think, even if I grab him unstacked, which isn't ideal. God, do I take my guy Darius Slayton? Are there any other stack things I'm missing here? Ugh. I guess I'll take Darius Slayton. It's gross. Trust me, I know it's gross. But that's what we're going to do. Who is the best wide receiver on San Francisco? Why is it Jalen Hurts? Now that is a hot take that I cannot sign off on. I don't know if I can sign off on that one. Rashad Penny is my most owned somehow. Yeah, I mean, I can see it. He's definitely always available in that same range where Devin Singletary is. There ends up just being these pockets of the draft where you end up drafting the same type of player over and over. How do you feel about James White and Gio as arbitrages to the earlier pass catching RBs? I've been drafting both a lot lately. Yeah, I think I need to get Gio more on my radar. And that actually might be another good one to add here with my Tom Brady build. I think it's a sharp call there. I also like I like Darrington Evans a lot as well in this range for the pass catching backs. I mean, you can see they're very affordable. White, Cohen, Evans, Gio. Makes it easy for the zero RB builds when you're trying to get a nice mixture of breakout rookies, handcuffs, pass catching backs to know you kind of have those guys in the back half of the draft. I think is nice. I took a page out of Crane's book and DM'd a Bucks beat writer to make sure Gio was going to make the team. Yeah, I mean, it makes complete sense. Like Tom Brady treating Gio as is James White makes a ton of sense. I only have 2 drafts, and Sermon and Kmet are my most owned. I don't think that's very good. Small sample size. Very small sample size. I believe that means you just drafted them in both of your drafts. I think that's fine. Plenty of time to balance it out. Yeah, Eric sent me the board. I can pull it up too when we're done looking at this draft. I don't know. I don't know if Gio makes it to me or not. I appreciated the mention from Jack because sometimes when I'm streaming, I'm not as I'm generally hunting. When I'm doing drafts by myself, once I start putting teams in, I start faving players on that team. I have a good idea of the kind of players. When I'm streaming, both from a combination of not having the time to do it and not wanting to just make a giant billboard of who to snipe me on. So I appreciated the Geo suggestion there. We'll see if my Nick is on Gio as well. Great blocker and receiving back. Strong likelihood he takes over at least most of the passing down. Yeah, I mean, we've seen it. They didn't trust Keyshawn Vaughn. A lot of us thought maybe that was going to be him. They don't like Rojo in the passing game. Fournette was fine, but I mean, he's just so dusty. I completely agree that Gio could carve out that role. I wonder if there's some chance Rojo gets traded from Tampa. I hadn't even seen that floated around. The only thing is Rojo is one of their, I guess Keyshawn's still young. I guess it comes down to how they feel about Keyshawn long-term, if they're keeping a candle on for Keyshawn or not. If they've already moved on from Keyshawn, we at least know they like Rojo as a runner. So I don't think they would do that unless they were pretty confident in Keyshawn. Yep. Corey, let's check here. Corey, this is the point of draft where Corey gets his fourth quarterback. Kirk, Sam, Derek Carr. I think you could draft Tebow, Corey, and kind of hope that, he's such a stud at tight end that they have no choice but to also convert him to quarterback. And then you're kind of getting a real bang for your buck there. Oh, yes. I remember Keyshawn Vaughn was going, 107, 108 in dynasty rookie drafts. I don't think I saw him going in the 5th round, but he was definitely squeaking up into that 7th and 8th. That's the nervousness I get when I draft Trey Sermon. I feel like I'm drafting this year's Keyshawn Vaughn. It's scary, man. That's correct. You don't do it. Pat is trying to push this thing called the hyper Rojo strategy, where you only draft 4 total running backs and one of them is Ronald Jones. Give it a shot. We'll check their win rates on hyper Rojo at the end of the year. Hang on, Harbs. I think this is a good question. I'll pull it up. I just need to figure out what I'm going to do with my last 2 picks. So I will draft Gio as my 5th running back, and then I need one more wide receiver here. Maybe we go double Tampa Bay here. Gio and Scotty Miller with Brady. The only other option would be if I would go 3 tight end with Mo Alley Cox, who I like a lot. You know who I wanted? I've been meaning to draft some late Pascal and I don't have anyone else stacked with Wentz. So let's go Gio with Tom, and let's go Zach Pascal. So I get at least one pass catching stack here with Wentz. What was Harbs's question? Oh yeah. This one's tough. Basically I think Damian Williams is very bad for David Montgomery. And I am curious how that will play out. I think we know what Cohen is and what his role is. The question is Damian just a pure handcuff to David Montgomery, or does this turn into a full-blown 3-way committee where Williams is getting some touches? I don't know the answer. I definitely have been drafting a decent amount of Damian Williams late, just because I love betting against David Montgomery. Do I have a take on the Cam versus Mac Jones debate? I'm a Cam stan, so I think they get Julio and could be a top 12, but I feel that's a minority take. Yeah. One thing I have in the back of my head from last year is I was drafting a lot of Tyrod Taylor late. I liked their schedule. He was kind of easy to stack. And I just had in my head this thought like, oh, it's going to be a long time before Herbert takes over. That obviously happened sooner rather than later. I know Mac Jones isn't the prospect that Herbert was. I actually don't even know. I guess I'm just gauging it by sentiment. I'm pretty sure Mac Jones isn't viewed as great of a prospect as Herbert. But I guess the point I'm trying to make is it always feels a little risky to me to be drafting the incumbent when you have a highly drafted rookie breathing down their neck and knowing that he could lose that job. I haven't been drafting a ton of Cam, but I think it's perfectly fine if you have that conviction that that Cam is going to be the quarterback for the full year to build some stacks around that. And Patriots stacks are cheap. It's just, I have a really hard time getting excited about the Patriots offense from a stacking perspective. I think they've kind of told us what they want to do. The 2 tight end sets, they want to run the ball a lot. I don't think they're going to have a ton of explosive plays. I think they're going to be a more slow, methodical offense. I don't know. They're just not a team I'm kind of going out of my way to try to stack. I think the way to do it is probably to skinny stack it, right? You know, if you draft Cam, maybe you do like a James White and one of the tight ends. Maybe you do one of the wide receivers. I think Jacoby Myers is still fairly cheap. Maybe throw in Aguilar, but I can't imagine even double stacking them too much. I just don't see them as an offense that's going to score a ton of points this year. Let's see here. Have you been drafting any Jalen Hurts? I like how we're now getting the man spelling in here. I haven't. It's a pocket of the draft where I haven't really been drafting quarterbacks. Generally, I'm trying to draft, one of the top 5 or 6 guys, and then, pair it with a Trey Lance, a Trevor Lawrence, a Tua I even like, or I'm doing what I just did today, which is go with the three quarterback late build. So it just hasn't been a pocket of the draft. And I just feel like he's a little expensive. I feel like he's a little hard to stack right now. You kind of miss out on Devonta Smith because both him and Hurts are going in the same range. I guess you can get, Rager and Goddard. I don't know. It hasn't come super natural to me in drafts. I'm not opposed to Hurts at all. He just seems a little pricey and a little hard to stack. All right, let's review some teams here. I know Chris and Corey were in the draft. Were any of you else? Corbin's here. Yeah, we can take a look at some teams, and then we can take a quick look at the other draft that went concurrently, and then we can get out of here. So yeah, I went Tom Brady, Baker, and Wentz. Definitely don't love having 3 statue quarterbacks without much rushing upside. But I do think both Brady and Baker could throw for a lot of touchdowns this year. I don't mind piecing it together at quarterback. I went with a 0 RB build. Was happy to get ETN and Trey Sermon at discounts. I mean, both ETN and Sermon almost a round later than their ADP. I'll scoop that up. Then rounding out with kind of what I talk about with the 0 RB builds. Like I like having the texture. So I have, hopefully late season rookie breakouts. I have a pure handcuff in Pollard. I have Singletary in a 50-50. Hopefully he gets the better end of it. And then Gio just giving me a nice floor there, catching my passes from Brady. Pretty solid at wide receiver. Devontae, Hopkins, DJ Moore, Mike Evans, who we get stacked. Jarvis Landry, we get stacked. Toss on a breakout rookie, hopefully Rondell Moore. And then a couple of my hashtag, I prefer them in best ball players, Darius Slayton and Zach Pascal. And then tight end, Mark Andrews. My definition of elite, meaning I only need to grab one more. We reach on Austin Hooper just to lock up that stack with Baker. So all in all, a team I feel good about structurally, not one I'm doing cartwheels about. There's a few spots in the draft that felt a little gross to me. That Trey Sermon pick kind of threw me off. I wish I had a rushing quarterback in here. Other than that, though, definitely don't mind it. Think he could definitely be in the mix. Let me check out some other teams here. 194 Corbin. What's your team's name? That'll help me actually more because I don't have this. Were you? Here you are. Let's see what Corbin has going here. So Kyler Murray and Zach Wilson. I definitely love that pairing for quarterbacks as far as where you're investing in quarterbacks. Went with the hyper-fragile build, Jonathan Taylor, Austin Eckler, Dobbins, and Gaskin. My one comment here right away is if you use 3 of your top 4 picks on these running backs, I want to wait to grab my 4th running back later. I'd prefer this to be in the Pollard, Rojo, Singletary range because you've already invested so much capital here. You've also prioritized a quarterback. It's going to make you pretty weak at wide receiver, I'm guessing. And I would just much rather have a wide receiver here at pick 64. I do see you got a deal on him, which is nice, but I still think with your build, I would want to get a wide receiver here because as we can see, I mean, Julio and Judy, nice picks. You're making up with it with volume, which is definitely the way to go. What did you end up with? 11? Okay. I get that. I think you definitely did the right thing. If you're going to go Gaskin there, you definitely have to hammer it Tight end, though. This is I can't advise this at tight end. Herndon is a guy you probably want. If you're going to only do 2 tight ends, he should probably be paired with a top 5 or 6 guy. And if not, you probably want 3 tight ends here. So I think what ended up happening is this Gaskin pick kind of had a trickle down effect where ideally you shift Gaskin to a wide receiver and then you shift at least one of these wide receivers to a tight end. I don't think you ever want to leave a draft with just 1 tight end. That's going to be really, really hard to be competitive there. But I try to be nice on here. You guys, instead of just saying you're a fucking idiot, why did you only take 1 tight end? I really try to be nice because I know that when the chips are flying, it's hard not to make mistakes. But yes, Corbin, I wouldn't roll with just 1 tight end. Do we have a story in here? Did we have the story on how that happened? The most extremist structural drafting strategy so far on the stream. Corey Volk's 4 QB strategy, and now Corbin's single tight end with Christopher Herndon. I love it. Who else wants me to look at it? Yeah, the thing is, I understand that, but it's such like a structural. I don't know what the word I'm like. I think it sinks your team. You're going to be taking zeros at tight end a decent amount of the time, or relative zeros. I think you could maybe get away with it. Like if you just wanted to draft Kelsey or Kittle or Waller and just do 1 there and just pray they ball out and you take the 0 the bye week, I think you can do that. I just don't think you can do it with a tight end as late as Herndon. Single bad tight end. That's the new strategy. Let's check. I don't even want to look at Chris's team because it just makes me angry. Burrow and Lance, Christian McCaffrey, Zach Moss, Latavius, Gus Edwards, Jefferson, Lockett, Higgins, Beckham, Boyd, Hardman, Diami Brown, Demarcus Robinson, Myers, Jawan Jennings, George Kittle, Hunter Henry. I would maybe go with a 5th running back here instead of Jawan Jennings. I'm just going to be honest, everyone. I'm going to go full screen for this. I'm going to be completely honest. Never heard of Jawan Jennings in my life. Based on this build, because you didn't invest in your 2nd running back until the 10th there with Zach Moss, I think I would prefer a 5th running back here to Jawan Jennings. But maybe Chris knows something I don't know. I know you're trying to get a little stack equity in there with Trey Lance. But, I mean, the chances of Jawan Jennings paying off relative to some of the running backs available in that range, I mean, seems pretty thin. Let's see here. Chris doesn't allow himself to draft 5 running backs. I mean, not a bad way to live your life. Were there anyone else? Let's look at Corey's. I am very disappointed he didn't draft 4 running backs. Kirk, Darnold, and Carr. He's doing the same strategy I did. The 3 statue QBs there. Cook, Josh Jacobs, Ronald Jones, David Johnson, Chuba Hubbard. I think that's a nice core there. I'm not a Josh Jacobs guy, but this seems about like the right amount of running backs there. Keenan, Thielen, Robbie Anderson, Juju, Mike Williams, Russell Gage, Christian Kirk, Hunter Renfrow. Looks good there. Gets the double stack. Waller and Irv Smith, I think, is a perfectly good combination. Looks solid to me there. I probably go 4 running backs with this build. I'm probably going 1 more wide receiver instead of Chuba, but I think we're always just splitting hairs there. It's just more preference on that 4-9 or 5-8. But yeah, looks like a nice team. Let me pull up the our friends over there in our alternate reality draft and see. I'm not going to break down every one of these picks, but we can see what went on over there. Who is in this draft? We had Casey, we had Willis, we had Belair, we had Babs, we had Sherman. My apologies if you're on this draft and I don't recognize your username. It's hard work keeping track of your guys' usernames across 4 different platforms here. Let's give Babs a review. Babs, I believe, one of his first best ball drafts, Babs, this year. Is that the case? Let's see here. Aaron Jones, and then went A.J. Brown, McLaurin, Chase, Higgins. Love that. Come back to Kareem Hunt in the 6th. I think it's a nice value. Dallas Goedert. Then you go Joe Burrow to tie the to close the loop on your Higgins and Chase. I love that. Corey Davis, Bateman. Pat's going to be very proud. David Johnson is your RB3. Jamal Williams, Troutman, Ryan Fitzpatrick there to pair with McLaurin. Are you sure this can't be your first draft, Babs? It seems like you have this down. This looks nice. Phillip Lindsay's one of my other favorite late round running backs. I think that looks good. It's harder for me to see without the adding up the positional stuff. Maybe a little. No, this looks good to me. I'm trying to come up with a criticism here, Babs. This looks pretty darn good to me. Yeah, well done, Babs. Let's see, Phil. Where are you, Phil? What's your team, Phil? Why am I not seeing you on here? Remind me what your team name is, Phil. Let's see here, Sam. I'd take a review if you have time. Poor man's Anchor RB with Chris Carson. This is Sam. Come on, Phil. Don't troll me like that. I know Burn Zone. Come on. Let's see here, Sam. Tyreek Hill, Diggs, Mahomes there. Man, yeah, it is tough. I get wanting to stack Hill with Mahomes. Preferably, I like grabbing Mahomes if you can get it a little cheaper there. Chris Carson is your RB1. That's fine. Odell Beckham. Pitts there in the 6. Judy, Harris, Rojo, Moss, Rondell Moore, Nelson Aguilar, Baker, Sanders, Hooper. All right, we did the same Hooper Baker stack there. Devonta Booker, Cornell Powell to close the loop on that. This looks solid. Looks like solid construction to me. 2 quarterbacks. Who's your second tight end? 2 tight ends. It's hard reviewing structural teams without the numbers, but this looks good to me. It looks nice. Anyone else here? Anyone else? Let's see. Eric, what team are you? Sire 52. I can't believe how many of you guys were in the alt draft. Maybe that's just what this will be, is if we can't get in, we'll review the alt draft. Travis Kelce, Najee Harris. I'm not a Najee guy. Seems a little rich to me. It's just hard for me to pass up on a DeAndre Hopkins or even one of the tight ends, I think, over Najee. But let's see structurally here. Then grabs Miles Sanders. DJ Moore in the 4th is nice. Lamar here. Robbie Anderson, Jarvis Landry, Marquise Brown. I like these string of picks. Pollard, Fournette. Evan Ingram to go with Kelce. I think you could even wait a little longer on tight end. Once you get Kelce, it's such a luxury. And there's so many of kind of the later tight ends, the Herndons, the Mo Alley Coxes, that I don't mind punting tight end even further. Let's see here. Terrace Marshall, Amico and I were talking about him earlier. You get Sam Darnold, the double stack there. Nice. I think that's such an easy double stack. It's so affordable. DJ Moore, Robbie's very underpriced there. In the 6, you grab McKissick, Hamler, Amari Rogers, Sammy Watkins. Looks nice. Yeah, you guys, every one of you guys who's drafting this early and watching streams and consuming content have your structural draft strategies down pretty well. I'm just not a Najee in the second guy. That's my main quibble. Belair, what did Belair do? Where is he? Okay, Cam Akers, Hopkins, CEH, Mike Davis. Mike Davis in the 4th, Belair. You've been watching too many Josh Norris streams. Kyler Murray, you get that stack. Love it. Chase Edmonds, love that. Going all in on the Cardinals. Get Boyd, LaVisca, roll the tape. Tyler Higbee, you got Stafford to Visca there. Gabriel Davis, Ferkser, Paris Campbell, Kirk. I love Campbell this year. I've been drafting a lot of him. Van Jefferson, Edwards, Des Fitzpatrick, Kenny Gainwell. Looks good. Yeah. Mike Davis in the 4th is just, it's too much for me. Too rich for my blood. I would rather you get Cooper Kupp here and then you get the double stack with Stafford and Higbee. And I think with the Cam Akers, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, I think Akers, Edwards-Helaire, Chase Edmonds, and then one more in this range. Personally, I'm comfortable with that for a 4 and then using that Mike Davis pick on a wide receiver. But otherwise, I like it. Yes, but we can't forget about the thighs, the Mike Davis thighs. I wrote about that in the Fantasy Life newsletter on Friday because I've been seeing it everywhere. that it's no longer low key thick. It's high key thick. Sports writers around America are falling in love with objectifying these NFL players and their thick, thick thighs. Chris DM'd me a fact nugget. Wow. I will have to check this out after the stream. I will check that out after the stream. This was fun, guys. Thank you for joining me on a special Memorial Day edition of the stream. If you guys have not yet signed up for Underdog, which I assume most of you have because we're all drafting together, but new depositors do get $25. Use promo code Pete. You can draft with us for free. That's a Best Ball Mania entry. Would love to get you in these streets. And yeah, if you want to draft with us on Thursdays in the randomizer draft, that isn't a Best Ball Mania. That is a randomizer draft. It's a private $5 draft. That is not a slow draft, contrary to what the haters will tell you. And to get access to that draft, you can become a member on the channel. It's the join button down below. You can become randomizer royalty, and I exclusively post those draft links in the randomizer Discord channel. Shout out to all my Discord peeps. We got all kinds of fun channels in there. We got the VIP channels, but we also got the NFL Best Ball channel where a lot of good best ball conversation is going down in there. So we will see you around there, guys. We'll be back tomorrow night for Club Top Shot. Hope you guys have a great rest of your Memorial Day weekend. We'll see you next time.